The conversation and idioms. This lesson was prepared by Mr. Turki Al-Fafi, and again it is presented to you by me, Mu'tasim Nadim. I would like to welcome Fatima and Saud. Let's get started. Can you guys hear me quite well? Okay, it seems that Fatima can hear us. Good. Okay, the goals of today's lesson is that students will be able to remember the things that we have discussed so far, and all the knowledge, all the vocabulary, the idioms that we have learned are to be revised as well. Also, students will ask if they still have any confusion or misunderstanding. Okay. Let's begin by revising yesterday's lesson. Yesterday we were talking about modal verbs. This exercise is for you to choose which modal verb is correct. Fatima, you were with me yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, so you will take the first one. You will either choose must have or should have. I will read the full sentence. I must have or should have paid more attention in English class. Now I'm completely confused about the grammar. And just as a reminder, should have is to be used when you regret decisions that you made in the past. Like when you do something and you say that, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that, I should have done this. When you regret events that you have done in the past. Okay, Fatima answered should have. Should have is a correct answer. Thank you very much, Fatima. Yes, I should have paid more attention. Why? Because it seems that this guy or girl have not paid attention in the English class, and now they cannot understand the grammar. So they should have paid more attention. Saud, I wonder if you can answer the second one. I must have or shouldn't have ordered that new laptop. It was way too expensive. Do you think must have, in case you don't know what must have is used for, we use it for when we draw a conclusion or when we make deductions. Should have and shouldn't have is when you regret decisions that you made in the past. So this guy ordered a new laptop, which is very expensive. He cannot really afford it. So must he say I shouldn't have ordered, or I must have ordered that new laptop? What do you think, Saud? Saud, are you following? Okay, I don't know what happened to Saud, but Fatima, can you do the second one as well? Shouldn't have. That's also correct. Yes, he made a bad decision, and now he is sorry. He shouldn't have ordered that because he doesn't have enough money, or maybe he needs the money for other stuff, other things. 3. So it doesn't seem to be here. So yeah, you'll have to do number 3 as well. Did you get the package? It was supposed to, or it must have arrived by today. Well, this one is pretty clear. Why? Because the verb after the blank is not in the past participle tense, and that can only mean one thing. Okay, can you see the verb arrive? It's not in the past participle tense. So yeah, was supposed to. Oh, Saud is here. Okay, welcome back, Saud. Yeah, was supposed to is the correct answer. Must have cannot be the answer. Must have cannot be the answer, because every time we use have or has, we have to use the past participle tense of the verb. In this case, we have to use arrived not arrive. Well done, Saud. Fatima 4. You may not have or you should not have said that. Now you've hurt your friend's feelings. Should not have, that's correct. So number 1, 2, and 4 are very similar. People are talking about events that happened in the past and they are not quite happy about the decisions they have made, and now they feel like they wish that they could change things. Well done, Fatima. We move on. Here are the answers. Should have, shouldn't have, was supposed to, and should not have, in case you missed the answers. Here is another exercise, also for models in the past. Complete each sentence with a model in the past. For some items, more than one model may be possible. In some of these blanks, more than one model can be used. So first blank. I'm not sure what we did with the bottles. We blank put them in the recycling bin. You were not here yesterday, so modal verbs are like should have, shouldn't have, must have, could have, was supposed to. These are the modal verbs we're dealing with. So, are you there? Maybe Saud has problem with the typing device he's using. Maybe typing isn't quite easy for him. Anyway, Fatima, will you please tell us the answer that we are supposed to use for first blank? You think it's should have? Well, we should have put them in the recycle. I'm not sure what we did with the bottles. We should have. No, well, actually, he's not quite sure. Look, should and shouldn't have are to be used when you are. May is way better choice. Yes, if you remember, Fatima and Saud, we use may, might, and even could. We use may have, might have, and could have for uncertainty. You know what uncertainty means? It means you're not quite sure. Now he began his sentence by saying, I'm not sure what we did, right? So he's not sure, uncertain. When we talk about uncertainty, then may, might, and could are the choices. So yes, may have, not just may, we may have put them in the recycling bin. That means they maybe that's what they have done, but he's not quite sure, okay? The answer is may have. Well done. Okay, 2. The product blank been a big success, but instead it was a flop. If you remember, what type of sentences are we dealing with here? This is passive. We began the sentence using an object, not a subject. We started using the product, we're using been. The product has been a big success, but instead it was a flop. Okay, well, think again. Something was supposed to happen, but instead something else had happened. These guys were expecting success for this product. If you say the product had been a big success, then you cannot continue by saying, but instead it was a flop. Okay, you don't know. The answer is should. So that should have happened. The product should have been a big success, but instead it was a flop. It didn't do very well. Okay, 3. You were right there when the accident happened. You blank seen everything. The guy was there. What do you think we should put here? One guy was at the scene of the accident, and we expect him to have seen everything. So what do we say? What do we put here in blank number 3? You have seen everything. Had, well, look, we're not dealing with had at the moment. We're dealing with have and has. You must have seen. Remember, we use must have when we are drawing conclusion, when we are deducting. So that guy was at the place where the accident happened. So we expect that he saw everything. So he must have seen. He must have seen everything. Okay, you were right about using must, Saud, but it must have, not just must alone. 4. You know, who knows what blank happened if the other candidate had won the election? We're talking about possibility here, or uncertainty. Okay, we're not sure. We are just using our imagination in number 4. We have people who are candidates, but what if that candidate had won the election? Okay, Fatima Saud, any answer for number 4? I'm giving you a tip or a hint. We're not sure. Uncertainty. Okay, I've waited long enough. The answer is might have, could have, or may have. Any of these models could have worked. Who knows what might have happened, or what may have happened, or what could have happened if the other candidate had won the election, okay? 5. So, yes, can I help you with something? So, okay, Fatima says months. Must have, Fatima, okay? Not just must have. Okay, must have is the correct answer for number 5. You look refreshed and well rested. You must have slept well. We are drawing conclusion. Well done. Here are the answers of the previous exercise. Might have, may have, could have. Number 1, 2, should have, 3, must have, 4, might have, could have, may have, 5, must have. Okay, I believe this is going to be the last exercise on how to use models in the past. So I want you to rewrite each sentence as a passive sentence, okay? Passive. Again, when you use passive, you begin using the object. The police officer could have arrested him for speeding, but he let him go with a warning. Can you spot the object? The police officer is the subject in our sentence. The object is we don't know who he is. We know that he is the one who has broken the law by speeding, by driving his car fast. Actually, I'm not good at English, and I am also in the secondary. That's okay. I'm very glad that you are eager to learn and you are trying your best to to keep up. I know this level is much more advanced than the level that you're in, but anyway, Fatima, you're welcome anytime. Okay, then I will just read the example. I will just try to explain as much as I can. Again, we're dealing with passive. When we deal with passive, we begin each sentence by mentioning the object. We have two guys in sentence number one. We have the police officer and we have the one who is driving his car fast. The police officer is the subject and the one who is driving his car fast is the object. So we want to begin by talking about the one who is speeding, and we don't know what his name is, so we just say he. The answer is he could have been arrested for speeding, but was let go with a warning. We just begin with he, and by he we mean the guy who is speeding. Number two, the registrar should have given you a course catalog on the first day of school. The answer is you should have been given a course catalog on the first day of school. 3. A squirrel or a rabbit might have eaten the vegetables in our garden. Again, squirrel, object. Squirrel is the subject. Vegetables in our garden, the vegetables here, vegetables, is the object. So we begin by saying the vegetables in our garden might have been eaten by a squirrel or a rabbit. And the last one, the mechanic was supposed to have fixed our car by now, but it's still broken. The mechanic is the one doing the action, so he is the subject. The action is done to our car, so our car is the object. We begin the answer by saying our car. Our car was supposed to have been fixed by now, but it's still broken. These are the answers. Since that Fatima is the only student we have here and she is not even grade 12, so I will just move on to the next slide because today we have a lot to do. We are just making a revision of everything that we have done so far. Okay, now we move on to idioms. I will show you statements or sentences and you will see the highlighted expressions in blue. You will tell me why are they in blue, and we will use them together in examples. No big deal. Look at these words, Fatima. No big deal. Slipped my mind. Making too much of it. Don't sweat it. And flake. Fatima, these group of words is what we call idioms. Idioms. Let me type the word for you. Idioms. Okay, idioms. I'll give you an easier idiom, since that I don't know if you are really familiar with the term idioms. For example, if you want someone to try something, you tell him, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Let me type that. Here is another. Give it a shot. Okay, Fatima, are you following? What does give it a shot mean? Do you know the meaning of give it a shot, Fatima? Okay, what does it mean? Give it a shot. When you tell somebody, for example, we have an exercise, and I tell you, Fatima, give this a shot. Give this exercise a shot. What does that mean? Do I want you to shoot at the exercise or what? Okay, Fatima, do you have an answer? Try to, exactly. When you give something a shot, you try it, right? So these are idioms. Idioms are not to be translated literally. If you take the word, for example, give, and you get the meaning of give, and then it, and then shot, you will not get the meaning of this idiom. You have to know the meaning of the idiom as a whole, not as an individual word. Okay? These are other idioms that we have talked about in our previous lessons. The first one is no big deal. That means it's not really important. When I tell you that, okay, you didn't come to the party that I invited you to, and I was really mad, and then I told Jessica it's not a big deal or no big deal. That means that's totally fine. It slipped my mind. That means you forget. Why didn't you come to the party? And you tell me, okay, sorry, I slipped my mind. That means you forgot. Next, making too much of it. That means you exaggerate the importance of something. Exaggerate means like you are making it big. Don't sweat it means don't worry about it. Flake, when I describe someone as flake, that means he is an irresponsible person. So it's not nice to describe someone as flake. Okay, in casual speech, modals plus have are often reduced in the following way. You don't hear native speakers say in their speeches, I could have done that. No, they just say, I could have. Could have. Instead of could have, they just say, I could have done it. I could have done it. Okay, that's a reduction form of could have. The standard is could have, but normally native speakers don't say the standard form, they say the reduced form. Instead of saying should have, they just say should have or shouldn't have. If it's negative, then have is pronounced completely, and the reduction is with could and not. Couldn't have or could have, should have, might have, must have. Okay? Are you following? Okay, good. Okay. Are you the same Fatima from yesterday's lesson? Were you with me yesterday? Oh, I did another Fatima. Anyway, I don't know, because today's lesson is only a revision. We took these vocabulary words and idioms and grammar. If you are seeing all these stuff for the first time, you might feel like these things are very complicated and difficult. That's because actually today's lesson is only a revision. We just revising everything we learned. Anyway, see if you know the meaning of any of these words. Absent-minded. When someone is absent-minded, do you know the definition of this or the meaning of this? Found everywhere, harm, a material that causes two materials to stick together, something done without thought, as is done by a machine, forgetful, distracted, thrown away. Okay, that's totally fine that if you don't know. Absent-minded is like when you are in a classroom and the teacher is teaching and you are not paying attention because your mind is not in the class, your mind is somewhere else. Maybe you're thinking about the lunch that you're gonna have with your friends. So you know what part of the body is the mind? Your mind? Do you know what is the meaning of mind? Oh, no, mind. Look, when you think, you use your mind. Okay, do you know thinking? Like when people think, you use your mind. Okay, so did you get it now? Do you know what part of the body is the mind? Excellent, excellent. So your mind is what you use when you think. Absent means not here. Do you know the meaning of absent? Absent. 2. What's number 2? Sir, what's number 2? Okay, absent means that you are not present, you are not here. And when somebody is absent-minded, that means his mind is not here, his mind is somewhere else. He's thinking about, his body is here, but his mind is somewhere else. Okay, the answer for number 1 is E, forgetful or distracted. 2, adhesive. Adhesive is a material that causes two materials to stick together. I will try to explain. Adhesive, like glue. You know glue? When you have two pieces of papers, you want to stick them together, you use glue, right? So did you get the meaning of adhesive, Fatima? Adhesive is like glue. You know glue? You have a piece of wood. Okay, good. Automatically, I believe this one is easy. When something is automatic, it's not manual. So we match it with D, something done without thought, as is done by a machine. Yeah, machines do things automatically, but humans don't. Damage. When you damage something, you make it bad. So we match this with B, harm. When you drop your phone, that will cause some serious damage to the phone, that will harm the phone. Discarded is F, thrown away. When you discard something, you don't need it anymore. For example, you have a paper that you are done with, you don't need it, so you can discard the paper. So the paper gets discarded, thrown away. The last one is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means A, found everywhere. Found everywhere. I'll give you an example for ubiquitous. Everybody knows the writer Shakespeare. So I can say that it is impossible not to be influenced by Shakespeare's work, because his work is ubiquitous. His work is everywhere. This is just an example. Again, it's okay, Fatima, if you find it difficult to keep up, because again, we are taking too much or too many new vocabulary words, too many idioms, too many grammar rules. Here are the answers: E, C, D, B, F, A. Okay, another vocabulary exercise. This one is from the reading that we took last week. We were reading about mistakes that people have made through history. Boost. Can you match the word boost? Like, for example, when I tell you to drink something that will boost your energy, or that will give you energy boost, what does that mean? Don't care about me? Is that an answer or what? I'm just listen. You're just listening. You don't want me to care about you, so I just keep going on without you interacting with me. Okay, that's totally fine by me. Okay, I will just try to explain or define these words and give the answers. Okay, boost, like give a raise. For example, you know energy drinks like Red Bull, Bison. That's totally okay, Fatima. That's totally fine. Okay, again, if you know some of these energy drinks like Red Bull and Bison, when you drink these drinks, they give you energy boost. That means they raise F. Can you see F? They raise your energy, give you more energy. Endure. 2. Endure is put up with. Endure means to put up with. 3. Flop is D. Failure. For example, the new phone that they're making is a flop. That means it's not good. It's failure. 4. Novelty. Novelty is C. New thing. 5. Outraged. When someone is outraged, he is acting out of his mind. He cannot control himself because he's very angry. Good. 6. Tampered. When you tamper with something, you interfere with it. Okay, please do not tamper with my computer. I have a computer that I don't like anybody to use. So please, nobody tampers with my computer. Tamper, you interfere with. Just leave it alone. Okay, we move on. Here are the answers: F, B, D, C, A, and E. Now we summarize what we have done today. We revised the grammar rules discussed in this week, and we revised the vocabulary words mentioned in the reading lesson, and the conversation lesson, and the discussion lesson. And we also did some exercises regarding those. And thank you very much for joining me, Fatima. I really hope that you have learned something today. We still have 9 minutes 50 seconds until the end of today's class. If you have any questions, Fatima, about today's lesson or about something that you want to know about in English in the book that you are studying, I'll be very happy to help. Okay, thank you for joining me. If you have no questions regarding today's lesson or anything in English, you can ask. Okay, we have 9 minutes. I'm all yours during these 9 minutes and a half. And you have nothing, then you are free to leave it. Okay, you are dismissed. Okay, thank you very much again. You can go.